Hey Mike, how was your weekend?
Hey, it was busy. Goats got through the south fence Saturday morning, and Karen and I spent all weekend rounding them up. We found those kids everywhere. Last one was on top of Karen's gazebo. That was a heck of a sight. Almost as bad as herding cats.
Speaking of herding cats, what's going on with these underwriting changes I keep hearing about?
I know. I'm pretty excited to know more too. Rick, that cool guy in organizational development, told me they have all sorts of information coming. Videos, interviews, all that jazz. He said to stay tuned to the intranet for upcoming information. I haven't made it to my desk yet. Did you see anything this morning?
I just got up and running. Let's go check it out.
Thank you for joining us. Today's guests include Steve Allard and Daniel Taylor. I'm Chrissy Myers with Organizational Development, and we'd like to share information about the Customer Financials Program, the new credit underwriting standards, and how this will impact all of us.
Steve, what is the Customer Financials Program?
Customer Financials is part of our journey to 2020, Chrissy, as well as the collaboration effort with FCS of America. And specifically, Customer Financials is about finding a better way to store and retrieve financial data, and you'll hear that a lot as we go through our journey to 2020. That's a key part of our changes to credit and how we will deliver credit to our customers across the association. Specifically, Customer Financials is about replacing FlexPack with agronomics. It's an analysis tool that allows for a much easier, more efficient way to store information, retrieve information, and analyze that information. And that's a key part in the journey to 2020. Now, when we started looking at agronomics, and we tested that late in 2013, we found out that they use a different metric to measure the repayment capacity, one of the 5 credit factors. And as we got into that and explored that, we also found that we needed to evaluate all underwriting standards, not just one underwriting standard.
Wow, it sounds like a big change. Daniel, can you tell us what's changing?
Sure, Chrissy. Essentially what's changing is the ag underwriting standards for part-time and full-time farmers. We're going to be moving away from long-range profitability and towards a short-range profitability measure as the key metric for our repayment capacity analysis. The new measure is called debt coverage ratio, and this is really going to take the place of our existing measure, which is capital debt repayment capacity, as the primary basis for our earnings analysis. Simply put, debt coverage ratio measures how many times over a customer can service their debt payments with their net income, and it's expressed in a percentage. Okay, so for example, 150% debt coverage ratio means that a customer can cover their debt service 1.5 times over. Okay, and we feel like that this is a more progressive way to analyze our farm customers, and it also better aligns with the industry.
It's also important to remember that CDRC will still be used when appropriate, that we won't simply be focusing on debt coverage ratio. CDRC could be used in the more complex operations or operations where there's a lot of equipment being purchased, capital purchase are a big part of the ability of the operation to repay. In addition to that, we've also changed the thresholds for liquidity and solvency, the other underwriting standards, as we evaluated the impact of moving from CDRC to debt coverage ratio.
So a bigger question may be, why are we changing? Why the change?
Sure, and debt coverage ratio analysis provides a more objective way for us to analyze the customer's repayment capacity. It gets away from the equipment replacement charge that was quite often difficult to estimate for farm operations. Probability of default and pricing models also needed to be aligned with these underwriting changes to be consistent with our portfolio as we measure it today.
Steve, when do you see these credit underwriting changes happening?
The new underwriting standards and the integration with the probability of default and loan pricing will go into place January 1 of 2015.
Okay. Daniel, can you expound on what the expectations are around this change?
We need to understand the new measures and also be committed to implementation with our decisions and our analysis starting on January 1st, 2015. This has no impact to our ability to be a predictable and reliable lender to our part-time and full-time farmer portfolio. Our research suggests that this will not materially impact the way that we decision loans, and it is not our intent to let these changes impact our ability to approve credit.
Great. Steve, how will these changes benefit sales, support, and credit team members and the association in general?
One of the important changes, Chrissy, is that this change to debt coverage ratio allows us to more easily and concisely convey to the customers where they stand in the metric of repayment capacity. It also allows, from an analysis standpoint, for a more consistent approach to evaluating that capacity. That positions us real well as we move through the journey to 2020. As in the second quarter of 2015, as you know, we'll be rolling out agronomics, as we've discussed. And agronomics uses debt coverage ratio as that metric for analyzing capacity. So not only is it good for our customers, but it also aligns with the agronomics tool that we'll be rolling out soon. So moving to agronomics and the use of debt coverage ratio allows us to, again, to better retrieve that data, store that data, and use that data to build auto decisioning models, which will increase our efficiency to serve our full and part-time customers across the association. These changes also better align our underwriting standards to the marketplace and other farm credit associations across the country.
Great. All right. I appreciate you guys coming in today and giving us this information.
Thanks again for tuning in. Stay tuned next week for a video featuring sales and credit staff and their feedback on the upcoming changes. And for more information about the Customer Financials program and how it affects the association, check out the intranet.